It's a developmental disorder. That's the key term, developmental. What that means is developmentally, he, in this case it's going to be he, his social emotional brain is underdeveloped. Underdeveloped. In fact, over the years of doing this, a rough estimate of where he would be at on the maturity level would be about age 14. And I'm talking specifically with respect to maturity in the area of social and emotional intelligence. So his social and emotional intelligence is low. Logical brain, very high, very intelligent. Your husband's probably smarter than me. But when your social and emotional intelligence is low, your social and emotional needs are low as well. I can explain that and elaborate on that if you need me to. But if I really suck at riding a unicycle, and it doesn't matter how much I try to practice that, I just don't have the coordination for it, I'm just not going to have the need to ride a unicycle by default. It's going to be excluded from my needs category. And sometimes this happens at a very young age for him. He, in most cases, I do speak in generalities, learned at a very young age something wasn't quite right, couldn't quite fit in, came to kind of feel like an outcast, and maybe it wasn't subtle. Maybe his peer group truly did reject, bully, ostracize him. So he became very independent and self-sufficient early. So he doesn't have a whole lot of social and emotional skills because, in addition to having the brain wired that way, he excluded himself from opportunities to practice. So we also have another dilemma with the overly logical brain. You would think, how can you have too much logic? That's like saying you can get too many vegetables. With overly logical brain is an overthinking brain. An overthinking brain will get stuck on a thought. It will hyper-focus on one detail and will have great difficulty in generalizing or looking at the global picture or the gestalt. The overthinking brain will not know exactly where to start with step one, and when they do start on step one, they're not going to be sure where to go with step two. And so what you end up with is a lot of procrastination and sometimes just never initiating a project, period. Now we have you, which is 180-degree opposite. You are high in social and emotional intelligence, high in social and emotional needs. So you can see immediately why we have just a hell of a dilemma here. He has a special interest. I'm sure it's not much to do with anything social or emotional. So when he is anxious, he can engage in his special interest for anxiety reduction. That's an important concept for you ladies, because another thing that goes with ASD is anxiety. Chronic, low grade, never much relief anxiety. It's disguised as anger. Or it may be disguised as a shutdown or a meltdown. But what's going on underneath there is anger. So we see why we have such a problem, because you guys, high in social and emotional needs, high in social and emotional intelligence, he is damn near 180 degrees the other way. And so a lot of these traits that he has, now I'm not saying that he can't be insensitive or selfish or rude or inappropriate or any of this, but a good 60% of some of the problems that you have with him that you may have unintentionally downloaded as insensitivity or narcissism or whatever were directly related to some of the traits